He drifts in with the winds and use a library computer to check in. You can't sleep at the table, man. You're scaring the kids. And the fall's getting cold. You try to catch some air in an envelope so you can send it home. Sit by the fire.
Welcome into From the Nosebleeds.
You know, now that I think about it, we probably should have done a Bowling for Soup song.
Yeah, because we're both wearing the same shirt.
Yeah.
Pat and I are both wearing the same shirt that I got in the mail last night. When did you get yours?
Today.
Vince, what's going on, man? Do you like our
Where
shirts?
did you go? What is it with I didn't get the memo on the shirts.
So, Bowling
Well, you
for
don't like
Soup,
Bowling for Soup.
yes,
put
I
out-
do.
Oh, right.
I've listened to one of their albums and I like it.
They put out a
Late edition.
tweet and they said, you know, we have a mass exodus or some shit, like a big sale. And Pat sent it to me, and I was like, I gotta buy these shirts, but I could only find the blue one. Pat got a yellow one and a blue one, and
They were
I guess
$7.
we didn't communicate today on what we were wearing. We usually do,
No, we
like
won't.
constantly, and we
I
didn't
actually
do
was
that today.
ignoring you most of the day today
Why?
because I had a job interview.
You had a job interview?
Yeah.
Oh, you lost your. This guy buys
No.
a house,
No, I didn't lose
immediately
my job.
loses his job. Wait, what is this job for? A promotion?
No.
Oh,
It's for a different job.
how much more money? Is it substantially more money? Because that's the only way I would
Can't
take
talk
one.
about it.
Yeah, all right, we're in that phase right now. All right, what we can talk about is firing Rob Thomson. And
Promoting Reese Hoskins.
listen, the Talking 215 guys, listen, Jake at least is a critical guy. I don't want to use that word because it's like kind of like
There's a negative connotation.
there's a
to that.
very negative
No,
connotation.
he hates
to that.
Rob.
It's still Philly Rob though. But you have been critical of his moves all season.
Yeah, I mean, today is probably the first game that they've had the correct lineup back-to-back nights. That's great.
And that, what do you mean by that? Like Marsh is
Have
in
your
the lineup?
have your best 9 players playing regardless of who's on the mound.
I agree with that.
Just have your best 9 playing.
I look at that lineup sometimes, and I see Cody Clemens, and although he's played well, I'm like, is that like a National League, team?
I'm not against
winning
Clemens. I mean, the
lineup?
guy's
I know, like
incredible glove.
He's been fine defensively. He's been okay offensively, but it's like, give me Paul Goldschmidt, man. I want Paul Goldschmidt so bad.
We need to talk because since the last time we've convened on this podcast, there was a lot of Twitter shit involving some of the normal suspects. But
In the alley.
basically,
Who
there-
listens, by the way, because he called us out. He was like, yeah, well, that last episode, Reese Hoskins' manager, you called me out. You called me a bootlicker. I was like, all right, cool.
we need to talk about the people
Thanks
that
for the listen, though.
ever
Appreciate
since
that.
Joe Giglio had that tweet where he said on the air that like
And tweet.
and tweet he
He did multiple things
He
with it.
floated the idea. And don't get me wrong, because this is what you have to preface it with. Because I've realized, and again, I'm on Phillies Reddit, Phillies Twitter, all these people, and these people, the idea is invalidated as soon as you mention Joe Giglio's name.
Yeah.
I don't like him. I don't
Joe
think he has the
Giglio.
greatest points.
Well, he was a guest on Underdog Sports.
He's right. Yes, I know.
And
but
he was very
I'm
gracious
still allowed
with
to
his
be.
time.
I'm still allowed to be critical of his takes.
Sure.
I'm not saying he's a bad guy,
No.
but
I
like
think he's a bad guy.
when you name,
Bad.
as soon as you mention his name, people are like, "Oh, never mind, that take is invalid."
Yeah.
But like a broken clock can be right twice a day.
And he was right twice that day
So
because he said it twice.
Here was one of the first tweets that me, you, and our group chat saw that we started getting on this wave of people are psychos.
Right.
This is quote: an aspect of trading for Paul Goldschmidt that Phillies fans aren't accounting for is how it would affect the clubhouse. Imagine Reese in there with a guy who was essentially his replacement, and how that would make him and the other guys feel.
Now, Vince, I want you to
I
pause.
imagine not good.
I want you to pause real quick, and I want the listening audience to pause real quick and reflect on what he just said. Imagine getting the defending National League most valuable player to come in here at the All-Star break and give this lineup a boost, and Reese Hoskins' feelings are hurt by it.
So-
You have
right.
to think about this.
So like I get the
I don't understand
I get
it.
the pushback on like, oh, they'd have to give up too much for Paul Goldschmidt. Whatever, we don't know that. That's if they did, then yeah, don't do the trade. But these people on Twitter, their reason for not wanting the trade is because
Reese
it would
Hoskins'
quote
feelings.
hurt Reese Hoskins' feelings, and a lot of them were like, oh, it would kill the vibe in the locker room. And I said this to you on Twitter, and you said it was very true. If this locker room's vibes would be killed by acquiring the reigning NL MVP this team was never going to and doesn't deserve to win anything.
And here's the thing with the Reese Hoskins thing. First of all,
he sucks.
for all like intents
He's
and purposes,
done here, probably.
No,
Yes.
but
Like, it's over.
they're going to give him a contract just because he got hurt in spring training. I firmly believe they'll give him a 1-year deal. But that like forget about that for a second. Reese Hoskins has never demonstrated to me that he would be upset that a winning
Right.
player would come in here and pretty much like take over the
Also,
position that he plays.
Even take
I don't get Carson Wentz vibes from Reese
take
Hoskins.
Reese Hoskins out of that equation because you have these people saying the locker room will be upset. Dude, these are guys that understand this is a business and they want to win.
Imagine being heated that Paul Goldschmidt walked in. Like I can only imagine
the
this.
fucking MVP.
I can imagine this.
Cody Clemens would be pissed.
Yo, Dave Dombrowski walks in. Hey guys, did not mention anything to the press yet. It's gonna get leaked out soon, but just want to let you guys know we acquired Paul Goldschmidt. And listen, let's go defend this National League title. Let's try to catch the Braves. Fuck you!
Roger
Like,
Clemens would assassinate Dave
yeah,
Dombrowski.
like Reese Hoskins. What would he do? Like stand up and kill himself right in front of Dave Dombrowski and like
Hopefully.
I mean,
like
that'd be
commit murder
sick,
suicide?
actually.
Like I don't think he would do that.
We all trust Howie Roseman, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
he's earned our trust.
Well,
and
Vince
everything.
doesn't, but
we just
you know.
saw this essentially happen this year with he came out afterwards and he said publicly they did not want to initiate any kind of extension talk with anybody in the locker room, knowing they had 24 unrestricted free agents
Right.
because they didn't want to upset anybody.
Yeah,
This
exactly.
is like, it's different, but it's the same.
Yeah.
Like, they don't want to upset anybody.
Yeah, but like who's getting upset by Paul Goldschmidt? Who? Like who? You know what I mean? Like
little baby cucks.
I guess
Dude,
like Christian Pache's gonna like request a trade. Like
Dude, I was getting into it with people. I had one guy tell me this is a vibes team more than anything.
what does that mean?
Vibes don't win. You know what won the pennant last year? Our almost $1 billion fucking payroll.
Yeah.
That's the fourth highest in the MLB.
And Matt
that's
Bureau.
what won the pennant. That's what wins games.
and Dancing on My Own, the
Yeah,
vibes.
well, yeah.
Right, but like the vibes is in like,
Got a
oh,
point.
we're adding Paul Goldschmidt and the vibes are gonna be ruined. Get the
No.
fuck out of here,
No,
man.
Well, he doesn't know the song yet.
Yeah,
Yes,
he's
as soon as
gotta
he
play
learns
the
the song,
song.
the vibes will be back.
I don't want to be
Exactly.
I don't want to be a vibes team. I want to be a wins baseball games.
I'll tell you who's a vibes team.
because the Houston Astros are like a wins baseball team.
I'll tell you who's a current like legit vibes only team right now is Miami. I think they're a vibes team. I think Cincinnati's
Sure.
a vibes team.
You just
meaning-
can't claim to be a vibes team when you were the fourth highest payroll in the MLB.
No. The Phillies should be
A win games team.
Win games now team, no matter if they play songs after they win or not. I mean, like
Exactly.
Trey Turner is hitting 247. He's been an absolute disaster for them this season. I don't care that he's gone through like some decent streaks of hitting the ball well. He's killing this team offensively. Last night was an absolute disaster. We touched on Rob Thomson earlier. I listen. John Kincaid went on the radio this morning and said, "I don't believe Thompson is making these calls. I believe an analytic department is making these calls for available relievers, non-available relievers." But last night it was almost to the point of like this is like blasphemous to the game of baseball. The way he handled that bullpen was a disaster. I know they didn't hit with runners on the entire night. Like they got on base, had 8-9 hits against Strider, which you have to win those games at home. That you actually hit Spencer Strider. Ranger Suarez, by the way, phenomenal, unbelievable.
Yeah, dude, it's really cool that like he's kind of emerging as like a true number two guy.
But
As Aaron Nola kind of falls off a cliff.
But let me get back.
continuously.
Let me get back to the reliever thing. You in a one-run game, you're going to go with Jeff Hoffman, who I'm pretty sure worked at Wawa a couple weeks ago.
Dude, the crazy thing is like, and
I don't understand it. If it is an analytics department, Jake and I were talking earlier about it. Rob Thomson needs to grow
I
some
don't even
balls and
blame-
say no.
I don't even blame Hoffman. Though.
I'm putting no. I do. I felt bad.
He
for
should have
Hoffman.
never been put in that spot.
I actually felt horrible.
Also,
for
what
him.
are they doing pitching to Acuna there?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
You had first base open.
Next batter grounds out.
You do not
That
fucking-
inning would have been over.
You don't pitch to Acuna there, and he's like one of like the three best players in the
Is he
MLB
good?
right now. Like
He's good, right?
he's okay.
Acuna.
He's pretty decent.
He just looked
I
no,
mean,
but
dude,
like for real, what are they thinking? Don't pitch there.
According to a guy that I was sitting with a couple years ago at a Phillies game, he said Acuna Matata. It means you suck.
Well, yeah,
So
I was
mean-
there with you. That was a great time.
No, were you there?
I was.
I
Yeah,
must
that
have
was
been.
opening
I
night.
must have been
a couple years ago.
absolutely obliterated to the point of no
Probably.
return. Anyway,
And
yeah,
how do you remember the guy saying it?
because he was.
It was
fat.
very memorable.
Hey, it was memorable because
Yeah,
the guy
but
kept
you,
saying
you
it.
don't pitch to Acuna there. That's just stupid.
No, I agree.
And then like
JT made a phenomenal base running, blunder. that
was-
guy's a fucking idiot too. By the like, dude, you're better than that. I know he was safe.
having a
by
guy.
The way. By the way, he was
listen,
safe.
Can we be honest though? What in that situation? There's not much of a difference having a guy at second. You want your fucking guys on base.
Dude, it was like a 2-run lead.
Like
Yeah.
There was no need for
You
that.
didn't have to get into scoring position.
I'm
right
not trying to be like, people are like, oh, steals are important, and they very much are. But like in that exact situation, like you didn't need that.
I mean, Esturi or whatever the hell his name is, Ruiz on Oakland has like 50 steals and nobody cares.
That steal Acuna had, speaking of him, was very funny, where he just kind of walked to third because
Yeah.
whoever
Nobody
I
was
forget.
looking.
Yeah, no one was looking.
But wasn't that defensive indifference or was that a stolen base?
I mean, they called the Marsh steal
That was defensive indifference.
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't.
There's
being,
no difference.
Well,
Like,
he wasn't being held at all.
Yeah. Well,
So-
essentially, neither was Acuna. They just
And
they
actually,
didn't
good,
do it because by
good to
choice.
see. Good to see Marsh getting 3 hits
That's my guy.
last night. I know he's been struggling mightily.
My guy. Leave him in there.
He's been bad,
I love him in the 9-hole.
horrible. But it was good to see him break out of the slump a little bit.
Yeah.
He was halfway to the cycle in the 6th inning, and Kruk was like, "Oh,
I love that. Yeah.
Kruk was like, yeah, I think he's gonna get it."
Oh wait, did you see what Kruk drew on the screen last night too?
Did he draw? Did he? Draw a
they
dick.
they were showing Reese that he drew "We Miss You" on the screen.
Oh, Kruk, no. Krucky, are you fucking? Kruk's
He
part
loves
of the,
Reese.
Oh my god, I know, but
He
why-
brought
Good,
it cold.
good body of mine keeps saying Crux lost his fastball.
Yeah, he's
lost it.
Yeah, he's gone.
What? Never mind. I don't even want to bring this
No,
up.
bring it
I'm
up.
a little
Bring it up.
tuned
I was gonna say what?
It's a safe
like,
space.
let's assume, and I know this is a big assumption because you just said he's gonna get a contract. Let's assume Rhys Hoskins' Phillies career ends here. What does his career like?
God forbid.
Like, do you think that he has a good career once he leaves here? Like, what?
I think
What
he
does he
continues-
go on to be?
Well, first of all, he's going to continue to do the same for the next 2 or 3 years, and then he's going to regress horribly.
Like, does a team bring him in as a DH because he is a
I-
fucking butcher?
I
in
think
the
he's
field.
got DH written all over him. I
100%.
I think he's got potential all-star DH.
Yeah, he can't play a single position defensively in Major League
All-star
Baseball.
DH meaning like you're going to hit 220 with 40 homers. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I just don't see him ever improving his batting average, ever.
I did like the idea.
He's
though,
just too hot and
of-
cold.
I like the idea of having him DH when Bryce can go back in the field next year, and if you do get Arenado, I mean that would be a pretty solid
Goldschmidt. I mean, I would take Arenado
lineup. Or
too.
yeah, Goldie.
I mean, it
you
would
know,
also be
what are
nice
you
to
doing
get
with
Schwarber at DH.
Oh my
That
gosh,
too,
I've never
yeah.
seen a guy sprint flat-footed.
Well, I mean, he's kind of like. I'm not saying he's fat, but he's kind of.
He's big
We
boned.
call him.
He's
on,
kind of hefty.
On Talking to Him 5, we call him Fred Flintstone. The
I
guy's just
saw that, dude. I was cracking up
chug-a-lugging
at,
around.
at your one tweet the other night. You're like, Fred Flintstone just barreling around the bases, and it's like, dude, yeah, that's
You
pretty
only
much
can
what
watch
it
it
is.
like every time
With the
balls hit
sound
out into
effects,
left.
too.
Oh yeah, every time a ball's
Speaking
hit
of
into left
Schwarber,
field, you
how
see old
much-
Fred Flintstone.
How much is Wawa paying this guy?
A lot.
I
probably.
mean, dude, that's
Speaking of Wawa,
he
can I
is
say this
Wawa.
real quick? Like jersey patch advertisements became a big thing again in Philly after Flyers showed their new jerseys, which nobody's talking Flyers.
Oh, by the way, you have to squint to see the difference.
Yeah, I mean it's the
it's
jersey,
minimal, but I
the
like him.
advertisement's terrible because blue on like it looks terrible.
I agree.
Can we agree the only jersey advertisement that would probably make the jersey actually cooler would be a single red Wawa goose on the sleeve of a Phillies jersey?
I would like that.
Would that not be sick?
That would be.
I
That'd
think
be
it would be
cool.
awesome.
like, and it would be so fitting.
yeah, Jake,
I think-
I think you should call PR.
I'm telling you,
And get it
I
done.
tweeted it and it got like 2 retweets. I mean, which is a big deal for Talking to Him 5.
Dude,
But I was like, this should be huge. Like, this is such a good idea.
I know this is such a minuscule topic. I didn't hate the look of the StubHub patch on the Sixers jerseys, but I fucking despise the Crypto.com.
Oh my
thing.
god.
See, the
I don't mind.
Crypto.com one looks cooler, but
It-
it's just
it
horrible.
fits better.
It's just
Yeah.
a
I
horrible.
thought the StubHub one.
no,
did
the
look kinda
StubHub one
horrible.
was horrible.
I don't.
Really?
I don't
StubHub
mind.
one-
I
ass
hate
cheeks.
all jersey advertising. Like
I don't
it's
mind
such
the
a corporate
Oklahoma
sell. You're
City-
making billions.
The Oklahoma City Thunder have the. If they still have the same one I'm thinking of, it's the worst one. I forget.
Oh,
what,
the Mets one's bad.
yeah,
That
yeah. No,
massive
you're right.
square,
I hate the Braves
with
ones,
ADT
too.
security, the massive.
Oh,
the
quick
Braves,
creek.
yeah, the
It's a
quick
yellow
creek
one?
Yeah, that
looks
looks
fucking horrible.
Yeah, that one in the Mets massive, like
should-
8x8 square.
OKC
Yeah.
have like a red heart.
Yeah,
Well,
I also
That's for DeMar
I've
Hamlin.
always kind of liked the Clippers one with Bumble.
Bumble actually
It's
That's
kinda
fucking.
funny.
That's
It looks
hilarious
funny.
that Bumble was their sponsor.
You know what we need to get? We need to get like Brazzers, like some major league
Tinder?
team needs to
No,
get
like
the
they,
hub.
Or
they
where-
supplied, who
wherever-
supplied all the lube for the light poles?
Oh yeah, that's right.
it was one of
was
those-
a
it was like a
porn,
porn company.
convention-esque thing.
Yeah, they supplied
But-
gallon like containers
Yeah.
of lube.
Wherever Zion goes, that's
Oh,
the
boy.
Brazzers.
Yeah.
That's the Brazzers sponsorship.
Get a-
Possibly Philly.
Get a Pornhub logo on there.
I don't.
There's
know.
I don't know.
at my work. There's a Wawa right next door to the factory I work
You work
in.
at Lou Turk?
No, the warehouse. And I constantly see every day parked in the same parking lot a Jeep with the back of it is a big Pornhub thing. And I'm like, I wonder what that person's like all about.
That probably porn.
They probably or they
No,
like
I think
work
they just
for them
enjoy,
or something.
No, I think they just enjoy it.
That's Seamus.
You know what freaks me out though, and I guess I've
drives?
been known to be horny.
No,
here-
he just has a car.
just a
here,
little bit.
here and there, but here and there, but
Everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere,
Everywhere.
especially Target.
but people like who wear like Pornhub t-shirts in public, just
It's
like
sick.
walking down the
Just to
street.
be
I would do
edgy.
that in a heartbeat.
I don't think it's to be edgy. I think it's just like how like
A true love of the game.
no, like we love the Phillies.
Yeah, they
and
just
the
love
Sixers,
Pornhub.
and we'll wear like our Sixers shit like down. They're just fans, like you know what I mean. Like somebody will
See
stop
a
you and be
Riley
like,
Reid jersey.
Yeah, I was gonna say a Pornhub jersey with the name on the
with
back.
the name on the back.
You got the Chinese symbols going down the back.
Yo,
Did you guys see that? Like, you know what that means? It means like when life gives you lemons.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
yeah,
it's
yeah,
lemons.
yeah, it
Like
does.
that's so cool.
our
So
buddy.
cool.
You gotta hang that her jersey be hung up in the rafter.
Our
Oh,
buddy,
100%.
our buddy actually
Hang out
ran.
in every man's house in the entire United States.
A friend of ours actually ran into a porn star at the airport.
Yeah, Lauren
Recently.
Phillips.
Yeah, Lauren Phillips.
My,
I never.
my buddy
heard of her.
Evan. He had never heard of her, and he was behind her and was just like,
I wish I
she was just
behind her.
spilling out of her
I'm
shirt.
gonna have to
obviously.
Google.
Yeah, he was like, "Yeah,
So
this
I don't
has."
think
You
to
don't know
be-
Lauren Phillips?
I'm
I don't
better.
know
With,
her
I'm
either.
better with faces than names.
Is she a milf?
Yes,
Or, oh, she's a
definitely.
milf. I'm
Definitely.
probably very familiar with her.
I mean, hide the stuff out. in
Red
public. Save it for
yeah, I
the
know
green
her.
screen.
Yeah.
You know her?
yes.
yeah, yeah,
Lauren
I'm
Phillips.
familiar.
The
So
funniest
familiar
part
with her
was he sent the link to her Instagram in our group chat, and me and Chris immediately were like, "Oh, Lauren Phillips."
But what? But wasn't he just like, all right, this lady has to be a porn
Yeah.
star?
He had
just
no.
like,
So the reason he found out who she was because he was flying to Florida. He got down to Florida, went on the hub, and the first video that came up was her.
No shit.
Yeah,
What do you do
Listen.
for work?
I'm not
You
gonna
here for
say you
business or
guys because
pleasure?
clearly you guys aren't doing this. But my favorite thing is when guys like pretend like they don't know like porn star names or
Oh,
like
fuck no.
they're like,
Dude,
oh, I
that's
don't like. Yes, to fuck you.
But no,
Don't
but
lie.
I
There's
will
no
be-
need to lie.
I will be honest with you.
We're all doing the
No,
same thing here.
In all seriousness, I know like a few. Like I know you're run of the mill. Like everybody knows this.
Oh, I
porn
know
star.
like all
like
of them.
Alexis Texas. Like I'm very familiar with.
Yeah, because you see her on the billboard for Delilah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
familiar with like
Club
some
Risque.
of like the MILF, actresses.
Yeah,
However,
you are.
I'm a big fan of like the amateur content. Like
Yeah,
you know
he
what I
is.
mean?
It's
It's
weird.
more realistic.
You're an OnlyFans
like I don't
guy.
want. Yeah. Like exactly. I don't want to
Support
see.
small
Support the
business.
grind.
I don't
Support
want to
small
see,
business.
What's your
Wow.
OnlyFans bill every month?
I don't have an OnlyFans account,
Sure.
but
Uh-huh.
Sure.
I'm not
He's a-
against
he's a,
it.
He's a Fansly guy.
I'm not against
yeah.
it. It depends on how much. I heard they charge like astronomical prices.
I don't know.
So I don't know. I wouldn't pay for that just because it's
I'm
I
ready.
feel
readily
like you would.
it's readily available.
Based on your past history of paying for things, I
I'm
feel
a
like you would.
red-blooded conservative. I don't pay for that.
Speaking of paying for things, me and O'Leary got shit-faced the other night, and I wanted to go to the strip club so bad, and he bitched out, and so did Jimmy Cassidy.
It was 6:30 in the morning.
Would you believe me if I told you I've never been to a strip club?
Well, you're coming with us, buddy.
I've only ever
just don't
been.
have a desire.
I've only ever been to the one in the Poconos.
yeah.
I've never been to
Oh,
the
boy,
Pleasure
that couldn't
Dome.
have been
The
great.
Pleasure
you
Dome.
haven't
That
haven't
couldn't have
met Seamus until you've gone to a strip club. with him.
I've
I
heard.
don't know Seamus then.
I
I've
wanna
known
hear
don't.
Seamus for
No,
a
you
long
don't.
time.
I'm
I
in
wanna
my
hear some
element.
baseball
That's
talk.
why I was so disappointed that all those guys brought their girlfriends up the mountains. Like we couldn't have snuck away to the goddamn place. We could have done. Oh man, we were so close.
Why
to
wouldn't
the
you bring
Pleasure
the
Dome.
girlfriends?
Well, because some of them are weird, so they're like, oh, I don't want to do that.
I'm pretty sure the girls planned. Oh, you're talking about the strip club. Never
Yeah,
mind.
to the strip.
I was gonna say they planned the mountain trip, so like
Yeah.
they had to go.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like in a different universe,
just stay home?
it would have just been us.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Anyway, from Reese Hoskins to Lauren Phillips, that's how quickly we
You guys
go off
taking
the
You guys
rails.
taking a Philly sports trip to
I
Delilah's?
would love to. I would love to get a porn star on the show,
Like a guest or like the host? With
like
us?
a guest.
Oh, okay, I was
I
gonna
mean,
say.
we're the host.
Yeah,
we
have a
do
fourth
what
chair.
Adam 22 and Lena the Plug do after, and
After
just
a lot of
fucking
a lot of university.
Yo,
rode a
that's-
train on her
That's
after.
so weird to me because I like knew Adam 22 like as a music guy, and now he does that. And it's like, oh god.
Yeah, do you guys know about that?
No,
Yeah,
Him-
I know
so
about
he
that.
Enlighten us.
married or was dating Lena the
No,
Plug.
they're married now.
Married.
Lena
And
the what?
Lena the Plug.
She's like
a
a-
porn star.
yeah.
Lena the plumber.
And the
Plug.
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 Never heard of her.
But
Should I put it in my notes?
I didn't hear of her until I saw
She's-
this shit. It was, so I was
Oh,
just
here it
cracking
is. I
up. So
didn't hear
basically,
of her.
they do a podcast together where they interview other porn stars.
Okay,
And then they make a
once
sex tape at the
once
end.
The
Guys,
once the podcast is over, they just fuck.
I think I'm in the wrong podcasting subgenre.
Get to be an intern. with
Talking
them.
2 and 5 after
Dude, if
dark.
I got a job, like a low-level, entry-level employee at like Pornhub or Brazzers,
You'd be a
I
fucking
would
fluffer.
work. No,
You would totally be a fluffer.
oh yeah.
Seamus would climb the fuck out of that corporate ladder.
I would climb the ladder, like, and my brother.
You would be a fluffer.
My brother
Do you know what a fluffer
would be
is?
like, "Yo, bro, I climbed the ladder at this, respected company." Well, I climbed the ladder at Pornhub, bitch.
Do you know what a fluffer is?
What's a fluffer?
It's the guy that keeps the guy hard.
Keeps him right at that.
Listen, you have to start somewhere.
Jesus Christ.
You have to
Jesus
start somewhere.
Christ.
Eye
You have to start
contact not
somewhere.
required. Like it's not required.
Dude, I would do nasty.
It helps. Some,
Yeah, it helps.
It depends on the contract.
It helps.
It depends on the porn star. I feel like some of them are like, no, you have to look me in the eyes.
I
when
would
you
do disgusting things to Howard Eskin if that got my foot in the door over there. So I mean, like getting my
Well,
foot.
you heard
in
it
the-
here first.
You
Haven't
have
Howard.
to
you
get
been
murdered by
offered-
him.
Like,
What's that?
Haven't you been offered like
No,
producer stuff?
yeah, but like not like realistically.
Oh,
Just like,
okay.
oh yeah,
But you just said a foot in the door. That is a foot.
that's
in
a
the
foot in the
door.
door. But
That's
I'm
a
saying
foot in his whole ass.
no, but I'm saying like a legitimate like you're going to be like hosting the morning show now.
Oh well.
You know what I mean? Like
yeah, you got to give a little more than over
that's
the
what I'm
pants
saying.
hand
Like
job for
I
that.
would do that for that. What makes you think I
Joe
wouldn't
the
do
camera,
that?
Definitely. I mean, when you're saying beat the hammer,
Oh yeah, he beats his hammer.
he beats somebody's hammer.
Dude, did you hear the story he told about like he accidentally like bit his girlfriend while they were sleeping? Like he bit his girlfriend's back.
What we're not going to do is
no,
regurgitate
no, we are.
Philadelphia radio
215
song.
No,
294,
well,
294,
Joe
294,
DeCamera like went on this tangent like a couple months ago, saying like, yeah, something
Great.
weird to me happened over the weekend. I wasn't awake for it, but I bit my girlfriend in her back while we were sleeping in bed together, and she woke up like bleeding. And like apparently she was like, "Hey, you bit me in my back." So yeah,
Sick.
I guess it was a slow time in sports, but
Okay, you want to talk about something stupid with? Well, I don't want to. This China transitions away from the Phillies.
China?
Not that we're way
Did you
off.
just
the
say
Phillies.
China
China.
transitions?
No, this kinda.
Oh,
Anyway,
We're
you're
going to
talking
China?
about WIP earlier today. Speaking of Joe Giglio as well,
Giglio.
apparently he said he would trade
Gigolo.
Joel Embiid for Kawhi Leonard.
I mean, listen, Joel Embiid for Kawhi
What?
Leonard doesn't even make any sense.
Kawhi Leonard is like Joel Embiid if he were 10 times more injury prone.
Yeah, that's true.
He just
Also-
doesn't play.
But he's won something.
Yeah,
so.
he's beat us.
Yeah, but his best years are behind. I mean, Joel's best years could also be behind him. Maybe
no,
this
no,
year
no.
was his best.
What makes you say that?
Well, he won an MVP.
Yeah.
So he's not going to try anymore.
Yeah, he's done. He's cooked.
Kawhi is older, more injury prone, plays less games.
Yeah, but he's gotten more experience in the game, and for
Yeah, but that doesn't
reason,
matter
no,
when
it
you're on the
does.
bench.
Listen, dude, Miguel
You're just
Cabrera
playing
could be
devil's
available
advocate.
at the trade deadline, hitting 102. Yeah, but he has experience, so I would do Embiid, Maxey for Kawhi.
But also, you saw what
You're
Nick Nurse
insane.
did with Kawhi.
Derek Jones Jr. is declining his $3.3 million
Nick-
player option.
Was that
Carroll
even?
guy. Carroll guy.
Carroll guy, big Carroll guy.
I don't know. I would rather die than have Kawhi Leonard on the Sixers right
What
now.
about Derek Jones Jr.?
I saw him play in person against
Yeah,
the
so
Roman
did
a
I.
couple times.
Yeah.
Good player.
Yeah, very short shorts in high school. That's what I remember.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, they
that's
were.
what you remember.
Well, I mean, dude, they were ridiculously, obnoxiously short to the point where people were bullying him, and now he's in the NBA, declining millions of dollars. But anyway, let's get back real quick because I do want to get your take on Rob Thomson, Vince. Do you think that there's any truth to the possibility an analytics department is giving him, like telling him what to do with regards to the bullpen, or do you think it's just incompetence on Rob's part? Because it's one or the other.
you don't think it can be a little bit of both? Like
I guess.
there could be just an over reliance on analytics. Like you don't. I don't know. I think that's been one of the things.
Because
that's
last
weird
night was
in sports.
inexcusable. Like you're in one of the most important series of the entire season so far, coming off a nice West Coast trip.
It's very clear that he looks at analytics too much, and analytics are a good thing when used appropriately. But
People
like,
always forget Rob Thompson's a Girardi guy. Like he comes from that Yankees organization, that Yankee way of doing things with analytics and stuff like that. So it's like it's not shocking to me that he relies heavily on analytics. It's just like it's hurting them this year, and we've seen it time and time again so far in the first half. It hasn't been a great first half for Rob Thomson managing wise.
yeah,
It just really hasn't, and it's something that I mean these games are going to come back and bite them in the ass. Atlanta is now 9 games ahead of them in the standings. You had a chance. I didn't think they were going to sweep. I did say they could take 2 out of 3 just because they've been so hot lately.
I mean,
But-
with Nick Nurse now coming to Philly, Rob Thompson's got to be the most uninspiring of the managers or coaches in Philly.
He
'cause,
got
like,
them to a World Series though. That's
no,
the other thing.
I'd like to see what he's like when the cameras aren't rolling because he just doesn't seem like he is. He must have, but he doesn't seem like he's very. Or maybe they just hated Joe Girardi that much. He doesn't seem like he's like that inspiring.
He's
Like,
not
kinda
fiery,
Just,
like,
he's
he's
just
not
there,
passionate,
right?
yeah.
Like compare him to now Nick Nurse, who was fiery as fuck,
Right.
and Nick Sirianni, who you might like think he has weird ways about him.
No,
but
he's very passionate.
He's very
There's no doubt.
passionate, very fiery. You can tell he gets his guys fired up. The Flyers, who the fuck knows?
I mean,
who really
no,
cares?
well, Tortorella is like arguably the most fiery
Right.
coach ever.
So like Rob Thompson's kind of like a sore thumb sticking out among coaches and managers.
With
in
regards
Philly.
to like personality,
Yeah.
well, I think he actually
He's like a
does have,
literal stick in the mud.
I think he actually does have a good personality, and he's got a dry sense of humor and stuff like that. But as far as like, getting jacked up and stuff, and like, I don't know.
I mean, we don't know what he's like when he's drunk though, and all he does is get drunk with the guys.
yeah. So, yeah, that's true.
he could just turn into a complete and total party animal and like fire everybody up when he's drunk.
If that's the case, then he's the best coach we've ever had in this city. We've ever had. But yeah, I don't know. I'm like, is that an issue? I don't know. Like,
Well, considering a deep state runs our government, I wouldn't be surprised if.
well,
The-
do you
the
think
deep
Topper's
analytics-
part of the deep state?
No, the deep analytics.
Oh,
run
the deep analytics run the Phillies.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
actually
yeah.
makes so much sense.
Yeah, it's probably Bobby Clark and the guys that are on the
Oh
Flyers.
God,
that run
Paul
the Phillies,
Holmgren is
too.
actually pulling the strings at CBP. Can you imagine that? Like, it's-
Comcast secretly owns the entire sports complex.
Rob Thompson's like, I want to put Alvarado in. Let me call Paul Holmgren and Bobby Clark real quick. See what they have to say about it.
Dude, I just want to like, I don't want you to take this the wrong way, Seamus, because you're gonna say, "Oh, I'm undervaluing baseball," but like, we're really in like the worst time for sports of the year. Like everything is done, but baseball.
I mean, baseball is fun.
Baseball is fun, yes, but I like baseball and I like other things, and it just sucks that like the next sport we got is what college football, which
Well,
doesn't come till
you
August.
see what happens is the seasons for the other sports end,
Yeah.
and the baseball season is continuing on.
Yeah, I just think that this
It happens
for
every
years.
year.
this
Like,
this
happens
stretch
every
this stretch from the NBA finals to college football when all you have is baseball gets a little rough.
Yeah, but then at the same time, when baseball is over, you start to get that itch too eventually for baseball. Like,
Absolutely.
oh, I'm sick of hockey, football, and basketball. I can't wait for spring training.
Personally, for me, I just think
It's less things to bet on.
baseball being
agree.
the only sport is a little harder for me because I like football and basketball more.
I think
Yeah.
it's also just the anticipation of the Eagles this year.
Yeah.
Like
Well, I'm also
everybody's-
very excited for college football.
Well, coming
I
off
love
a
college
Super Bowl
football.
loss, are we that
Yeah.
inspired?
Are we gonna basically get back? Are we gonna?
I mean,
all the way.
dude, looking at that schedule hurts my eyes.
I mean, this is the most excited for a football season I've been in a long time.
That's
Oh,
what I'm
I'm
saying.
not-
Well, I
I'm
think
not at all.
that's what's making it like worse.
Is that
this
weird that
summer.
I'm not like that excited about it because I look at the
Yes.
schedule
Well,
and
what
I'm
are
like
your-
they're overmatched pretty much
I
the
th-
entire season.
I think you're wrong.
Yeah,
I think they belong up in that echelon of teams. Like, there's probably some of those teams that you're thinking that we're looking at our schedule and seeing and like being worried. Like, they're also probably looking at the schedule, seeing the Eagles, and like being like, "Oh, that's not an easy game."
Yeah, that's true. I
Like,
mean,
The
I'm
Eagles
excited.
are up there.
I'm excited for Jalen Hurts' next step forward.
Here's also how I see it. So the Chiefs obviously were one of the best teams in football last year.
Yeah.
As well, and they had a tough schedule, and they still had the same record as us.
Yeah.
And then we went toe to toe with them, like in the Super Bowl. So I mean,
And they gave away some games that they should have had easily last year
Oh,
in
yeah.
Kansas City. So
Yeah.
I mean, they should have been much.
But I
better
mean,
than they
like,
were, but
I see us having a very similar trajectory to last year.
all right.
I mean, I think it's like kind of without a doubt. I'm gonna say we win the division at least. I think it's like we're almost damn near a lock.
So
to
you're not
at
on the
least
Daniel Jones is him train?
No,
I am.
I think we're at least damn near a lock to appear in the NFC Championship. That's how confident
and
I-
get
confident
beat
I am.
by Javon Hargrave.
No,
Because it'll be different this year.
the NFL is
They'll have 4 quarterbacks.
Dude,
Yo,
that-
wouldn't that
it's
suck
a-
dick?
it's
if
a
Javon
weird-
Hargrave advances.
It's a weird league. Like, I feel like it's kind of wide open, especially in the NFC. Like, I mean, I don't fear any of the teams in our division. Like, the Cowboys are always going to give us problems, but I don't think they are on our level. And then in the North, like, I guess the Lions are kind of emerging, but like, I don't think they're there.
Let's talk about the Cowboys real quick. Is this not Dak Prescott's like
Prove it
most
here.
important season he's in his entire career?
I mean, he's coming off leading the league in interceptions
That's what I'm
after
saying.
missing like 5 games.
Well-
Or he was at least like top 2. I
Well,
forget.
dude, he was absolutely horrible last year.
Him and Josh Allen.
It's going to be interesting to see what he does this year, and Josh Allen too. Like these quarterbacks that you're kind of like, what the fuck are they doing? Like Dak, I've never been like a fan of. Like I don't think he's great.
I don't think he's that good.
but
yeah.
people
I
obviously,
think he's perfectly fine, like average.
but people overvalue Dak Prescott. There's no
Mhm.
doubt.
Well, I mean that offense, yeah, it's like it was very well run by Kellen Moore, and then they fired him. So.
Yeah.
I think there's like three
That's true.
categories of quarterback you can break it down to, and it's quarterbacks that actively hurt you, quarterbacks that you can win with if there's a good team around them,
Dak,
and quarterbacks who can kind of elevate the rest of the team. Dak falls into that middle category.
and I think Jalen falls into.
I think Jalen falls into the
he can
topper.
elevate
I
you.
think he can elevate people. Yeah.
I think so too.
Bottom category
But
is
let's-
just bad quarterbacks.
mean,
like
let's
fucking
not-
Sam Ellinger.
Let's not act like that Jalen Hurts wasn't given the ideal roster to work with.
Absolutely.
And that is not like people always say like, oh yeah, well, this guy needed all these weapons. What quarterback doesn't need weapons to succeed?
I mean, there's
You know what I
never
mean?
been a quarterback to win without.
That's what I'm
good
saying. Like
weapons.
that's what Donovan McNabb never had was like a roster like this.
Well, yeah, T.O.
No, I know,
But
that
no,
was
I
one
know.
guy
They
for
also
1
hated
year.
each other.
No, I know.
And
I
that
know.
was people always forget that was for what one and a
One-
half seasons or just
I
one
think one
season.
season.
So it's like, yeah, I mean
one
Jalen,
fantastic season, but
but I don't think Jalen should get like criticized because he has a good roster. You know what I
the
mean?
people only do that when it's to minimize another team because the whole point of football is to build a team to win a championship.
Yeah.
Why the fuck would you just build a team that isn't that good, put your star quarterback out there and be like, all right, well, go win?
I'll tell you what. One guy that I'm really excited about this year on the Eagles offensively is Devontae Smith. Like, dude, that guy just. I mean, if he continues to get better and better every season, you're looking at having two number one guys, which I think arguably with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, they are both number ones. I don't think Devontae's there yet, but I think that this year he could absolutely get there. Like, he's one of the most exciting athletes in our city.
I truly think that if he was on a team where his role was bigger,
He would be a one.
He would be a solid one.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I just think that A.J. Brown takes away a little bit, and that's, they complement each other perfectly fine. They do things that the other one doesn't do as well.
I know,
but,
Jake,
like,
you're a big Devontae guy.
Oh yeah, I mean he was a true just science experiment coming into the NFL. They hadn't seen a guy at his height and weight ratio, and
Yeah.
you heard everybody
oh, he's too
saying
small.
like, oh yeah, he's too slight.
Mhm.
How many times do you see the guy get absolutely clobbered
And just
come
get up.
Right back
I mean,
up.
like, because he's hurt. It's like,
Oh, yeah.
he just
You're
he has
feeling
that
that.
mentality of never let him see you hurt.
Yeah, he's
like
awesome.
he hops up every time.
It's the benefit of doing what people badgered the
he-
Eagles to do forever, and that's just draft SEC guys. Because like it's the closest brand of football that you're getting to the NFL before
Yep.
the NFL.
So
It's not the NFL. Don't take that the wrong way, but it's the closest thing.
So if you had to put like gun to your head, not literally, don't worry.
No, literally gun
All
to my
right,
head.
well,
He
we
doesn't
literally
believe
have a
in
gun to
guns.
Vince's head.
I have a picture of that.
But for all three of you, if you had to give me an answer right now, top 5 most exciting athletes in the city, all sports across the board, do you have an answer right away?
I mean,
It could be,
Eagles
it could
have
be,
3 of them.
and it does not have to be young players. It can be veterans. It can be veteran guys.
I mean,
too.
I think Jalen's number 1.
Yeah.
I would probably go Bryce number 2. And then I guess just for the sake of having your 3 stars, like I think Joel is a very distant 3 behind those 2.
I'm just
But-
not that excited about
I'm
him.
surprised you
Poor
put-
yeah, you
man.
just know, I mean, it's you know what you're gonna get in the regular season.
I'm surprised you put Joel that even in top 5 exciting players.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
If he
there.
was
I know
if
he's
he was
great.
on my list, he'd probably be 4 or 5.
Yeah.
You know what? I guess you're making a good point. You're not saying the best. You're saying the most exciting. So
Most
yeah, I
exciting.
probably am.
Bryson
I'm gonna
Stott.
take Joel off
Oh,
there.
that's a good one.
Low key Bryson Stott.
That is a
because like
good
he
one.
just gets me hyped. Like
Dude,
like
that-
watching that dude taking it back.
That's a
and just
great
fucking-
answer.
Not
like,
enough people are talking about the jump he's taking.
Dude,
like,
oh,
it
I know,
is
it's insane.
Insane.
I mean, I did
like,
predict it
from
last
the
year.
beginning of last season to the end of last.
Oh
season.
yeah, I mean after
nuts.
When he got
August,
sent down
I mean,
to
he was-
AAA last year,
Yep.
Yeah.
as
You
soon as
did
he came back a
predict it, 'cause
different
you
player.
had non-stop people saying like, "Oh, you had no idea, Bryce not."
Right.
But you,
Um,
but
produced
Vince,
receipts.
Exactly.
would
Going back to your list, though, you would have Jalen 1, Harper 2.
Yeah, I'm
And
since-
B3.
No, since it's exciting, I am gonna take Joel off. It's not best. It's most exciting.
Most exciting.
Would it be wrong for me to have someone on my list, either 3, 4, or 5,
Tobias Harris.
Hassan Reddick? I think
No,
that I would
no,
put
he's
him.
fucking
I think that's a good
hilarious.
answer.
I think I would put him on there just
I
because,
mean, his work against Alex Leatherwood was
Yeah.
hilarious.
dude,
That's a solid
he
answer.
is a game wrecker, and it's so much fun to watch. Like when you're watching defense, to kind of just key in on him, like he's just such a fucking beast. After that, I mean, yeah, Bryson Stott might be up there.
Now let-
Andre Blake.
Yes, Andre Blake has to be on there. I mean, he is amazing.
Can't believe you
people-
didn't list a
If
single
people cared
union
about the
guy,
union,
Vince.
he would be there.
he wouldn't be in my top
but
5.
he's
But
still like outside the top 6.
I will say this, Vince. You say Jalen over Harper, and I think a lot of people would agree. But is there a specific reason why you put Hurts over Harper?
I mean,
Considering they both
I-
did the exact
I-
same things for their respective teams.
yeah, I get it. I think it just actually isn't even Harper's fault. I think it's the sports they play.
Okay.
I think it's
that makes
easier to
sense.
be more exciting of a football player than it is baseball player.
Especially at a quarterback because you are
Yes,
the man.
especially as a quarterback. So I don't even think it's Bryce's fault. Like I think they're kind of on an even playing field as players in their respective sports, but being a quarterback gives you a little bit of a slight edge to
And-
pretty much anything
And I would
else.
even argue 1A, 1B, Harper, Hurts are interchangeable because they're both guys that like they have the intangibles too. Like they get Philly, they get it. Like they
Yeah.
understand us. They're hard workers.
I mean, listen,
they hate losing.
they're 1A, 1B because I don't know if there was a moment. Listen, the Eagles season it was amazing.
Well, Harper,
know,
you could
Wait.
say to
Oh,
go
sorry.
against him is the injuries.
so
You know what I mean?
How about Tyrese Maxey?
Tyrese Maxey,
dude, Maxey's
I
got to be
think
top five.
he would be
Gotta.
my number 5. Probably.
Over
So
Blake
fast.
though, I don't know.
He's just like so fucking. He's incredible to watch.
He's
You know what I
electric.
mean, like when he's fucking on
That's another
and he's
guy.
hitting every 3 and he's sprinting like fucking
very-
full speed up and down the
the
court.
very
Yeah.
nature of his play is,
Yeah.
is excitement.
Exactly. He might be number one. Just
Yeah, I mean-
just based off of that. Like, you know what I mean? Because you watch Tyrese Maxey play and you're automatically intrigued.
And the entire time he's got a giant fucking smile on
Yes.
his face. He like does it like he just makes you feel like
That's why like
He's amazing.
I can't wait to see him take another step hopefully, and like I can only imagine being on the like opposing side against him, like for let's just say like next year he goes off on a game and he has like 40 points and you're just looking over and he's just smiling.
Is he
like
not-
and like not even like a devious smile,
Yeah.
like just genuinely happy to be there smile.
is he not
That just has to be
Philadelphia's
frustrating.
Philadelphia's like baby?
Yeah,
Like,
People
pride
say
and
like, oh,
joy?
Reese is like Philly's baby. No, Tyrese
I would argue
Maxey is.
Maxey like
Maxey's
10 times
number
that.
one Sixers boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh God, I even hate that. I even hate that. The way I hate that just
Number
because
one
of
Sixers boy.
the Reese Hoskins cult. But that's actually a good list. I would go Harper 1, not surprisingly, because I'm
Yeah.
more of a baseball guy.
I mean, to back that up, like I think the most exciting sports moment we've had in the last couple years, as far as like
The swing of his life.
is the hit, yeah, the swing of his
Bedlam at the
life.
bank.
100%.
That was unreal,
Dude, I would argue that entire run.
yeah.
I mean,
But
that
I mean-
that was the most fun I've had with Philly sports in a long
That
time.
run, I feel
No,
like
no doubt.
cultivated is most encapsulated by that particular moment. Just our best player in his best play of his career, sending us to the World Series.
And I agree, but I think that kind of takes away a little bit from the Eagles. But honestly, I didn't get as excited about the Eagles' run last year because I feel like with the Phillies, it's like you're playing series
Well, it was
after
unexpected.
Well, yeah,
series
that's the other
after
thing.
series.
It's
It
also
was fully expected with the Eagles.
Yes.
Like everybody was like, no, we're
Exactly.
going to the
With
Super
the
Bowl. The Phillies,
record-
it was like, we're not making the playoffs.
They were
I
on.
know.
They were on.
That's the thing.
they
It was
were-
more exciting.
They were as far separated on the spectrum as you can possibly
No,
be.
they were.
literally.
Because you are talking about a 1 seed and a wild card team that
That made
was
it
the
by one
third
game.
wild card, right?
Yeah.
So like as far different as it can be. So yeah, and the Eagles also kind of dominated in the playoffs. I mean, they beat the shit out of the Giants.
And they got that bye,
They
too.
beat the
so it's
fucking
like-
shit out of the 49ers, and then
Yeah.
the Super Bowl happened. But like the Phillies were more like,
Like,
the,
holy shit,
the
like
Cardinal
a
series
Cinderella
was crazy.
story,
The-
yeah.
the
Yeah, we
Braves
thought we were
series was
losing that
crazy.
first game, and then all of a sudden we fucking win 6-2. Like,
Yeah.
And that's when it started. Dude, I think about the Cardinals game all the time.
Yeah,
Like all the
yeah,
time.
That was crazy.
And then the next night, Harper
Gene
goes out
hit?
there and gets a bomb. Gene's last
if it
career
wasn't
hit,
for
I'm pretty
Gene.
sure.
Yeah.
Ever.
He did nothing the rest of the series.
No, and he's hitting 190 on the IL in Miami right now on a really good team.
I forgot up until last season how stressful playoff baseball is.
Dude,
Yeah.
Like,
I
you-
know.
You, take 11 years off.
Just
and
wait
you
till we have a
forget
pitch clock this year.
every day.
Oh my
just
God.
being like,
It's
oh,
gonna
I
be
hate the
ass.
pitch clock.
Dude, every pitch, every
just add
pitch
3 to 5
matters.
seconds. And you'll be
Dude,
fine.
oh my God.
That's it.
If watching Craig Kimbrell in the playoffs with a fucking pitch clock is going to give me a heart attack.
He
Dude,
just doesn't care.
well,
He's
I mean,
It's
oh,
just like
he's
like
oh, you
watching
give me
him in a
ball?
normal game. I'm sitting there anxious as fuck
Like,
that
throw
the
the ball,
clock's
throw
about
the
to
ball, throw the
expire.
ball,
'cause
throw
he
the ball,
literally-
throw the ball.
He literally like throws it at 0.1 seconds. like
Yo,
that's when he starts his
Pat,
leg
we
kick.
watched Noah Syndergaard start a fucking World Series game.
Yeah.
We'll be all right. You
We
know.
also watched him start a DS game. we went to 2 of
I
the
watched
Noah
Bailey
Syndergaard
Falter
games.
start a fucking NLCS game. Like, dude, what the fuck was happening? Oh, I would go back there. I would take Bailey Falter in an NLCS game though, just to get back.
Hey, Mick Abel's on the dish tonight.
Yeah, he's pitching tonight against the Roto World
the
Pornhubs
Sox.
or something.
Yeah.
The Bay Sox. Was it the Red Sox AAA affiliate?
Yeah, the
Double A.
Double A.
Yeah, I got the
Yeah,
app.
because why use a Mick Abel in AAA?
I got the app, bro.
Although you don't, it's not unheard of to have a pitcher go from Double A to the majors,
No, it's not. But you know,
and he would be that guy.
and people are always like getting back to the Goldschmidt thing real quick. It's like, oh yeah, Mick Abel and Griff McGarrett. Guy's name's Griff. Griff
Both.
McGarry.
We said this on Talking to Five. Both phenomenal baseball names.
Yeah,
Oh,
great
yeah.
baseball names.
Abel,
But do people
Griff.
understand that they're projected to be mid-rotation pieces? They're not expected to be phenoms.
And then even the guys that were phenoms,
Andrew
like,
Painter is.
we're talking about Spencer Howard, bum.
Yeah.
We're talking about Sixto Sanchez. Looks phenomenal. Hasn't pitched in 3 years in any
He's
level.
hurt again.
In any level
He's
of
hurt
baseball.
again.
Yeah, and he's added like 60 pounds. The boy looks huge.
Oh, yeah, he looks like shit.
He was a twig when he left.
Yeah,
60 pounds?
He added like 60.
What's he just trying to be fucking CC now?
Oh, he's a big boy.
Oh, how about
that
this?
Can't help his shoulder. Tell you that.
How about this, Jake? Our Reading Fighting Phils are up 4-0 over Portland. And that game is in the middle
Portland Cum Sox.
of the third inning. Mick Abel has allowed 1 hit.
Oh man, bring him up.
Dude, I'm
I don't
telling
see.
you.
I really don't see why not.
Why do we also still employ Bailey Falter in the minor leagues?
Because
Because he is getting fucking ripped
Yeah,
every start, no matter what.
Yeah, that's
Like,
kind of concerning. You know who's not getting ripped every start? For speaking of the Double-A Reading Fighting Phils, this Carlos De La Cruz guy, the 7-footer that you saw in spring training,
Yeah,
he's hitting 292 on the year, 870 OPS.
yeah.
Call him the fuck
Bring
up.
him up.
You and I
Well,
were talking about
and,
it.
and play him
spring
where?
training.
Yeah,
We were like,
dude,
I didn't even know this guy existed. He's like fucking 7 feet tall.
well,
Why
I
don't we
t-
give him
I
a
said-
shot?
Well, the Sixers disaster.
Yeah, I
was
was
still
gonna say.
going on,
yeah,
so I
that's
was
what it
like-
was.
He
Yeah,
played
yeah.
power forward.
I was
Yeah,
like,
I
yeah.
literally was like, wait, can he play for the Sixers?
Yeah, seriously, dude. I mean, it's just this guy, De La Cruz, I really like.
We already
But-
had a TLC. I'll take a DLC.
But I
fuck
know
it, why
St.
not?
Louis is having all sorts of issues, like with pitching, with hitting, with everything.
with baseball.
That's a guy, 23-year-old Carlos De La Cruz. I would 100% package him in a deal for Goldy right now just because the Phillies are going for it. But also, I'm like, no, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, but he might be related to Ellie, and then at that point,
There are so many De La Cruzes in Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Marlins left fielder's name's Brian De La Cruz.
the guy on the Reds is incredible.
Ellie De La
Ellie,
Cruz.
yeah.
That was, by the way, I picked him up in fantasy when
Good
everyone
for
else
you.
was afraid to get him
Good for you.
Everyone was afraid.
Why would you be afraid to get him?
because
The number
who knows-
one prospect in baseball.
Yeah. I mean, who knows how it's going to translate? You know,
who
Jordan,
gives a shit?
Jordan Walker
If he's
struggled.
not good, drop him.
Look, De La
that's true.
Cruz, Marchand, our catching prospect, Derek Hall. These are all guys I have no problem.
Oh,
You
get
get
trading.
rid of. Yeah,
Well-
Marchand's there's a log jam. He's not going to be brought up anytime soon.
Yeah.
Same thing with Logan O'Hoppe. I mean,
Well-
you can go ahead.
Let's look at the Lehigh Valley roster real quick. Jake Cave, who's absolutely
Needs to be up.
tearing it up, 391.
Just
Yeah, but you know what's going to happen as soon as he comes up.
Dude,
He's
he's
just going
got
to strike out every
he's
at
got
bat.
a 1230 OPS.
Yeah, he's still.
All right, that
he
is
had
fucking
that,
that's
insanity.
gotta
had
be
that in
that's gotta be
spring,
so
too.
infuriating for him to be like, what do I need to do?
And Ellis,
Although I would take
is
him over
struggling.
Josh Harrison.
You watch
so-
Josh Harrison just
Yeah.
butchering it out there at the plate and
I would-
out
yeah.
in the field.
Yeah.
Jake Cave's.
I would
hitting the
take Jake
cover off
Cave
the
strictly
ball.
because of his fielding at this point.
How
Like,
about that Simone Muzziotti hitting 363 down there?
Yeah, he's been tearing the fucking cover off the ball too.
I
hasn't he?
mean, dude, 900 OPS.
but he's another
363.
one. It's like every time he comes up, he just fucking sucks. Like,
Has he ever been up?
Well,
Yeah.
you know
Oh,
what people
shit.
are
yeah,
going to
last
say.
year
Yeah, they brought him up. I think he was a September call.
he came up like
Okay.
once or twice last year. I think.
But
He
you know
came
what
up once
people-
early in the summer because they had.
Oh, he
when
came
Harper
up twice and
originally
he
got
shit
hurt.
the bed. And
People are gonna
times.
people are
Wow.
gonna
That's a
start
good
getting
sample
sick.
size.
People are gonna start getting sick of the whole Josh Harrison
No,
experiment.
I've been sick of it since the beginning.
All right, well, I do have a solution
He's
for
a
you.
Walmart Cudge.
Good old Scotty Jetbacks hitting
Oh, boy.
271.
Oh,
He's hitting
man.
271 down there, batting 8th for the Iron Pigs.
I mean, how much worse can he
Just
be?
DFA.
he
Josh
will
Harrison.
not be worse than Josh Harrison.
You bring him up to hit lefties. He's hitting worse against lefties than he is righties.
Oh, by the
And
way, Nick
Bryson
Nelson
has reverse.
Nick Nelson
splits.
on the bump for the Pigs tonight, sporting a 2.45 ERA down there.
Oh,
Yo,
Rather see him
Who
than
did I
Dylan
talked to
Covey.
somebody yesterday that's like, yeah, I'm related to him. I'm like,
Really?
No, that's
Does he
unfortunate.
also have a punchable face?
I don't know.
does he
Because
also
Nick
smoke
Nelson-
Newports?
Nick Nelson has the most punchable face. He's the definition of hate the face, in my opinion.
this is like a
Probably
hard,
gets laid
this is
more
like
than
a
I
hard
do.
transition. But you guys, I think you said something about the Sixers mess like a couple minutes ago, and I was thinking ever since then. There was a trade today that sent Kristaps Porzingis to Boston. And
Love it.
bro. That's a great trade for Boston.
No,
Yeah.
I love it
Why do
because
you
he's
love
just
it?
gonna get hurt.
Yeah, he's probably.
He had a good. He's been good.
Yeah, with no pressure
So
on a
he's gonna
shitty
get-
team.
You think he's gonna get hurt? But he's gonna be a bench
He
piece.
gets hurt fucking all the time.
I mean, mental.
not gonna be a bench
mental
piece.
pressure.
No,
Not that this would
way.
intrigue-
Traded
He's
a
the
bench
number
piece
3.
for
Hold on,
He's
not
number
that
3
not that this would
But all
intrigue
they
the listening
gave up.
audience.
Hold on, all they gave up was Malcolm Brogdon.
But the Phillies are starting
Yeah,
at
Malcolm
7:15.
Brogdon. Malcolm
bench
Brogdon
piece.
is
Yeah.
better than Kristaps Porzingis.
I think Kristaps Porzingis off the bench is.
He's not gonna. He's gonna
He's
start
gonna
for them.
Who's he replacing in the starting
Al
lineup?
Horford.
Okay, fair.
Like that's
I
a no-brainer.
I still think Boston is still a way better team than the Sixers.
Oh,
well, yeah, that's
miles.
just the team
And I think that
already.
I think Kristaps is I think a good addition.
I mean, I'm happy because he's gonna get hurt. Like we all
I
know
mean,
it.
you
I'm
can't-
happy Montrezl
He's-
Harrell denied his player option.
that was one of
I was
the
like, wow,
dumbest moves he
shocking.
could have done.
Oh yeah.
Thank God.
But I mean, I guess he wants to go somewhere and play. I don't blame the guy, but also like
By the way,
but the
my man crush.
Is-
All right, was Montrezl Harrell.
Yeah, okay.
Is Dario Saric still out there?
No,
Yeah, he's on
I-
the-
That's the
he's on the
Croatian
Thunder.
sensation.
he's on the Thunder.
did
Bring him
Furkan request a trade yet, or is he not under contract?
He's requested a trade like
He
every
should
year
be
for the last
traded.
5
But
years.
guys,
Yeah, I
I'm
know.
the
I'm
guy's
getting
too good to be wasted.
I'm
on
more
him.
and more getting the feeling that the Sixers are just gonna run it back essentially, and like that sucks.
I think they're gonna. I think
Really,
Morey's
really
trading
sucks.
Tobias Harris
Oh
tomorrow.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
And I honestly wouldn't be surprised if you. And I don't want to do it because he's my baby and your baby, but I wouldn't be surprised if Maxey gets dealt either. Just because
But for
I
who?
think
The hard
Yeah,
thing
who
with
would-
because
that,
I don't think Daryl Morey has any like love for him.
But, like,
you know what I mean? Like
Daryl Morey's an idiot.
Who are you getting at this point?
I don't know.
and the hard thing with Maxey, if you
I have
trade
no idea.
Maxey, then you have zero backup plan.
Yeah,
for
I know.
Embiid.
I'm just saying.
Sucks.
I hope
Can-
he doesn't
yo,
do
can-
that.
can we-
But I could see Morey trying to get too cute with
Can
it.
we talk
and
about
doing that.
one of the biggest like mistakes the Sixers have made in in recent years? That,
Drafting Joel Embiid?
I would say it's one of the more underrated things that no one talks about. Maybe because it didn't happen that long ago. The biggest fucking mistake that we've made was trading for James Harden instead of Tyrese Halliburton.
I don't know.
No.
It was
Yeah.
the
Disagree.
better trade at the
Absolutely.
time,
I
man.
disagree.
It was,
But I'm saying with the hindsight.
I guess, but you can't really do that.
No,
Like,
I am
still
doing it
disagree.
right now.
I honestly don't think Tyrese Halliburton.
Tyrese Halliburton is way better than
I-
James Harden.
I don't
No.
think that.
Yes.
As
I
a playmaker, no.
Vince,
that's what
do you-
this team
Vince,
needed.
hold on.
Vince,
That's
hold
what
on,
this
hold
team
on.
needed.
Do you really believe that Tyrese Halliburton, the acquisition of Halliburton, would have advanced the Sixers into the third round of the playoffs to
Yes.
the Eastern Conference Finals with Joel Embiid still playing like a miserable piece of shit?
Well, no.
You know what I mean? So like, I understand your point, but I
Tyrese Halliburton isn't that much worse of a playmaker than James Harden. I think, before you cut in, I think James Harden is one of the most overrated playmakers in the NBA because he has high assist numbers, but just watch the fucking offense when he handles the ball. He just stands there, dribbles the air out of the ball, and then dishes it off to the corner for someone to maybe hit a three, maybe not. I think he's a very overrated playmaker. He has good passes here and there. I'm not going to say he doesn't, but he stagnates in offense because he's so slow, he won't move off ball, and he just fucking dribbles in ISO until the shot clock runs out.
Yeah,
I got
but
bad
also
news for
think-
you, Vince.
I
He's
also-
coming back.
I
There's
also
no
think
doubt.
100%.
that's not necessarily his fault. I think it's also the fault of the coach
it's
who's
all
not
but it's-
drawing up
it's
any
all-
plays.
It's all James Harden has
Yeah,
done
but
in his
if
career.
you don't have an offense at all, like Doc didn't have an offense,
you
he would
can't-
he didn't run offensive
you
plays. He
point
would
me-
just be like, "All right, figure it out."
But can you point me to a time
That's
in
a
his
good point.
career? Point me to a time in his career aside from Oklahoma City where James Harden was moving off the ball. It's never happened.
Yeah,
It's not what he does.
Okay, that's fine.
But I still think you're
But-
undervaluing the difference that James
Yeah.
Harden has made on this team.
I don't.
Like,
everybody's
you're-
three
you're
shooting
not-
numbers have gone up.
You don't.
Like-
by the way, you do not advance out of that first round if James Harden isn't here.
Not even close.
In the
Uh,
first
You
round.
also
The first
you also
round
that we
probably get
swept.
you also probably get
I-
gentlemen's swept.
Do you
if
know
not
how
swept
great
by
he
the
was in
Celtics.
that first round of the
Yeah,
playoffs?
he was very good.
Harden was great.
James
there was,
Harden played.
There
like-
was no Joel Embiid.
James Harden played like dog shit in Game 4. when
There was no Joel Embiid.
Joel Embiid missed Game 4, and James Harden played horrible.
Well, I
And
mean,
then
but
game one
James
of
Harden
the-
also
game
went
of the
off in
next
that
series.
first round. He was the MVP of that first
Can
round.
you
No, he was
imagine
not.
Tyrese
Yeah, he was.
Maxey and Michael Bridges on the same team?
See, that'd be sick.
I
be
think
cool.
a backcourt
That'd be really
of
cool.
Tyrese Halliburton and Tyrese Maxey would be a very
No.
fucking good.
That
young
would be
backcourt.
worse defensively than it would be with Harden and
I
Maxey.
think Tyrese Halliburton is a better defender than James Harden.
Bro, he's a twig. He's
Sorry, we got
basically
PJ
Nash.
Tucker
James
back there,
James
it's
Harden
fine.
doesn't try.
True.
Yeah, but at least he'll put a body on someone. And he's actually got mass to him. Halliburton can just get fucking pushed over
I
and
think
fucking
user.
go right. To the,
I think user forgetting.
I think
how-
you're undervaluing the great, phenomenal season and aging James Harden had last year.
Yeah, it was very good.
Bouncing back
I was
from an
surprised.
injury.
I think that when push comes to shove in the playoffs, Tyrese Halliburton would be better than James Harden.
You don't know that, but it's possible.
I implore everyone listening to this to go back and watch Boston Game 7 and Miami Game 6 and just watch James Harden in those games.
Watch Joel Embiid while you're at it,
Hold
too.
on. Sure, but I'm saying you listen. You can't get rid of Joel Embiid. It's not possible.
You can trade
But
him.
no, you're not. What? Let me ask you a question. Look at the differences between the two. You're talking about a Joel Embiid who's 29 years old, right? He just won an MVP. You could argue his best basketball is not behind him. He's in his prime. James Harden is done. Like
He's done, but look at the regular season
Hold on,
he
but
gave you.
Can I finish? His best years are behind him. So I would not put them on even playing field. You cannot get rid of Joel Embiid when he just won the MVP. You can get rid of James Harden.
Sure you can.
So in this scenario, go back and watch those games when the Sixers needed him to play and look at how he played. Horrible.
I agree.
Terrible.
I agree. But
He is also, you're taking a gamble on
you're not
Tyrese
there without Harden.
You're taking a gamble on Tyrese Halliburton, who I think is a very good player now, continuing to get better. Like, James Harden is cooked. We
But-
know what he is, a loser.
I don't think he's cooked.
Here's the thing with Hallie. I don't think he's a come here win now guy. Like I don't. Like he's never played.
I don't
in the
know if he would
playoffs.
make
Like,
that big of a difference.
I-
Like,
right
and
away.
you see what happens as soon as he leaves fucking Sacramento. They fucking go on and they become
Well,
a
come
one
on.
seed.
But
and-
you're saying
But that's
you're
like
saying
saying Bryce Harper leaves the
but you're
Nationals and
saying
they win the
Tyrese
championship,
Halliburton
Well, yeah,
was the
that's-
difference from not
I'm
advancing
saying
to the
a
Eastern
better,
Conference Finals.
a better player. And Tyrese Halliburton is a better player.
I don't
disagree.
know. I think James Harden had an unbelievable impact on this team last year, and he had his moments during the playoffs. He ultimately disappeared like he typically does in big moments, but so did your MVP.
So you're
So, I
telling
don't
me
know.
right now you wouldn't swap out Tyrese Halliburton for James Harden?
I don't think I would right now.
That's, I think that's fucking insane.
No, I run it back with
That's
James.
insane. He sucks.
I understand both your sides. Like I fully think that it was very impressive for what he did at his age at
It
this point
was.
in his career.
And he's
but
in
I
a
also
different role,
understand
man.
the frustration of seeing the same shit every
He
night.
is going
Just
to
ISO,
continue to
till
get
4
worse.
seconds, dish it, and then
So is your idea converting Maxey into a facilitator, like a true point guard?
No, I think Tyrese Halliburton is kind of that.
I don't think he's better than James Harden right now.
I do.
as a facilitator.
As a
no, he's
facilitator.
not.
I think James
And I
Harden
think that
is
was
an
huge.
overrated
We-
facilitator.
but I
That's
think
my
you
point.
I think you forget about like the success that we had with the Harden and B pick and rolls and stuff like that, and Doc Rivers just
Sure.
completely abandoning it. Like you have to remember.
You have to account for coaching too.
Yeah, like Nick
we had
Nurse-
a dog shit coach.
So
running
Nick
this
Nurse
team.
is gonna what? Push James Harden to play 40 minutes a game when he's gonna get hurt?
No,
and
because
old?
he's not
I
gonna
think he's
do that.
actually just going to coach them.
You also have to think about the fact that Nick Nurse was working with his starters that were young as shit in Toronto.
Do you guys think 35-year-old James Harden is just now gonna have that light bulb go off? Like, oh, I should move off ball.
Listen.
No, he's
nobody
set
ever
in his
said
way.
that. I'm
But I
saying
don't
that I
know
think
that
you're going to
you
see a
need
better
him to do
offense.
that. But I don't think you need Harden to move off
What
ball.
does your
to,
better offense look like when James Harden is playing ISO for 18 out of the 24
everybody
seconds?
else is moving. If everybody else is moving, because that's the other thing. If you watch while he's ISOing, nobody's moving.
But it's impossible to build a play when one player just dribbles.
No, it's not.
but isn't
No,
it?
it's not.
But
I
isn't,
disagree.
but isn't
It's
that,
not at all.
but
If you have a guy standing at the fucking 3-point line, why don't you have everybody cutting to the basket,
Why don't you have
fucking up the entire defense?
Ball movement.
Because
pass the
because
ball around.
If everybody's standing on the perimeter doing nothing,
No,
then,
I'm not saying
like,
do nothing, but pass the ball around.
Well, if you have people cutting, you can pass the ball, and then you get more penetration straight to the basket, and then bam, an easy shot right
you
under
can't
the
just,
fucking
you can't
basket.
just pass it to a flat-footed guy. You
Yeah,
gotta
I'm
get
saying-
guys
I'm
moving.
saying
Ball
hot-
movement's great,
You're not moving
but like
unless you're moving.
half the
with feet.
time when you're doing ball movement on the perimeter, you're just looking to throw it into Embiid, and he's not fucking
I
moving. He's
think-
just
No.
walking back and forth between the top of the
I
fucking
think you
key.
guys are
I agree.
forgetting that this is what James Harden has done his entire career.
but
He's
it's-
just dribble the ball until he has to listen.
And what did that get us? How many
hold on.
regular season
Can I-
wins?
Let me fuck regular season wins.
I'm just saying.
We can't make it past the second round. I don't give a fuck.
That-
I don't give a fuck.
that was
If-
on
Seamus,
Joel
I don't,
Embiid,
Seamus,
who you
I
literally
was on
blow
James Harden
consistently.
Too. No, first of all, I came on this podcast last 2 times.
You
and
said you
he's a-
would cry
I
if
said
he
he's a-
wins MVP.
I said he's a
dude.
loser.
I don't want to hear that.
James Harden, you can move off him. You can't move off Joel Embiid. James Harden is a fucking loser, and now you've made me lose
What
my
is
train of
Embiid?
thought. He's also a loser, but he just won the MVP and he's younger.
Harden has an MVP.
5 years
I'm
ago.
just saying, dude.
What
like,
the fuck are you talking? What are we talking about?
I don't know.
James-
I just think that you're going to be very upset because James Harden is
Harden
coming here and
has-
he's going to be here for the next 2
I know
years
he's
with a
gonna-
third-year
I know
option that
gonna
he's definitely going to.
I know he's going to come back and he's going to be bad. He's going to be bad.
He's not.
He is.
Based on what, dude?
Based on the fact
He's
that
gonna
he's
be bad
just
based
getting
on what?
older, he is completely his physicality, like his mobility, is cooked. I don't give. Oh, he doesn't get
No, I
by
disagree
anyone. They
with
let
that.
him by and they catch him at the rim.
Dude,
he
he
can't
is-
make layups.
You realize like he's like not the same James Harden that he was 5 years
Yes,
ago,
very
but that's
clearly.
not necessarily a bad thing for this team. Daryl Morey's job is to build around Harden and Embiid right now.
I don't.
And
wanna,
that's all it
I don't
is.
want to be building around a fucking 35-year-old aging James Harden who, when push comes to shove, will not.
What's
give
the
a
other
fuck.
option, dude? Tyrese Halliburton's not
Fine.
getting you to the Eastern Conference
I
Finals.
think he
He's
would
not.
have.
He's
I just
Not
don't.
him, but I think it would have. I think it would have helped you all.
Well, there's nobody else out there.
Yeah, right now
Well,
there's
here's
no
the other thing,
option.
too.
Right
Here's the
now,
other
there's
thing,
no
too.
move. I'm not saying you have to bring James back.
Harden's your best option.
Here's another thing too. You got to.
We're gonna lose in the second round again.
who is going to listen to? I would if I'm in the NBA. Joel Embiid has already admitted he doesn't like being a leader.
Right.
You need to go out and get somebody that's a veteran that's actually going to lead the team.
James Harden
did
Harden's
that
not a
this
leader.
year. He did that this year.
I don't think
He
so.
literally did that this year.
In what way
I
is
think
he
he
the
did.
leader?
In what way, dude? He fucking was the one getting
Tobias
everyone
Harris
together.
is more of a leader.
I
on this team.
agree.
I think
but
Tobias
Harden
is a
was
great
also
locker room
fucking
guy.
keeping this team together.
Yeah,
like you
I
see
agree
him
with that.
doing things for everybody. You see him fucking like actually like interacting with.
I
His
think his
teammates
impact
and,
on Tyrese Maxey is
yeah,
completely
him and
slept
Maxey were
on.
like fucking this. Him and Melton were fucking tight
Yeah.
as shit too.
No, I think James
Like-
Harden gives you more than you're giving him credit for.
Yeah.
Am I disappointed? Dude, I've always called James Harden a
So-
playoff loser.
And
always.
my other thing
Always.
too is like you're not going to bring in a guy who's what the third, fourth year player in Tyrese Halliburton. He's not going to give you that type of leadership that Harden
because he doesn't have that
Yeah, he
that
doesn't have the
experience
experience.
yet.
I don't
Yeah.
And then when you get to the playoffs, you don't know what you're getting.
I don't think you're starved for leadership on this team, though. If you,
Oh, I
listen,
think you're
if-
100%
yeah,
starved
you
for
are.
leadership.
Yeah, you
Dude,
are.
if PJ Tucker has to motivate your fucking MVP to
That
get his
falls
head out of
more
his
on
ass,
Joel.
where
I
is the
agree.
leadership, dude?
But you also
he's the
said
one that should be
we
the
can't
goddamn
move on
leader.
from Joel.
So
We
but-
know that.
All right, so
and we have him. We're stuck with him.
so then we should.
You
look
need to
for-
bring in somebody that's going to be a leader. Like,
and a,
Which
and
I don't know
I would
who that
also
is.
like that leader to also be a good player.
I think Harden is a great player right
He's
now.
not great. He's okay.
He's good.
He's fine.
I mean, dude, like I said,
James
dude,
Harden will give you 22 points a game, 10 rebounds a game in the regular season, and then ultimately disappear.
But I mean, dude,
So what's the point?
what is the option? What
Seamus.
is the other option besides Tyrese Halliburton?
There-
Is there any option?
I'm saying that they're going to bring him back this year, and I'm going to hate it, but it's all they can do. It's too late for them to make any moves. No one wants
I
James
don't know.
Harden
I think you're being way too hard on Harden.
because it's just going to keep getting worse.
How do you know
He's
that?
getting older because
He's
already,
also conditioning
has
better
sho-
than he has in the
Seamus,
last couple
he has
years.
already shown so many signs of being cooked physically.
I mean, he wasn't hurt at all this season except for one time with his foot for a
I'm
month.
not talking
that was
about
it.
injuries. I'm talking
How do you
about
gauge
watching,
that then?
watching him.
I think he looked great this year compared to last year.
Yeah,
Even
I don't. He gets
I think
caught-
he looked way better physically this year than he did last
He's
season.
constantly getting caught at the rim. He cannot blow by people.
All right, I mean, but
And that
also
was a big part of his game.
that was a couple playoff games
And
where he couldn't do
the
that.
other big part of his game, because again, I'm going to take you back to the Rockets years where all he did again was dribble the ball for 24 seconds and then hit a step back three because the ability was there. He doesn't hit that step back three with the same way he did. So his one cheat code weapon where, fuck it, if I dribble for 23 seconds, I'll just hit this step back. He doesn't have that anymore. Yeah, he hits the shots sometimes, but not nearly like he used to.
I mean, I think, dude, I don't know, man. I think Harden's your best answer going forward. You see what happens this year.
I think he's the only answer going forward, but I still think the Sixers ultimately, I mean, we'll see what happens when they can finally move off the Tobias contract, but if they essentially run it back this year with the same team, I think they actually lose before. I think they might lose in the first round.
All right.
No, there's too many bad teams.
Well,
in the
we'll
first
see what
round,
Okay,
happens.
yeah, I
to be
take that
honest.
back. They're going to lose in the same spot it's going to be the same shit. This team, we've seen it. And yeah, I'll throw Joel in the mix now because apparently
Fire Nick Nurse.
Throw Daryl Morey in the mix too while you're at it.
apparently, according to you, even though the last time I came on this podcast, I called Joel a loser, but apparently
First time ever.
because he showed us that he was a flat out loser for like the first time. I think that's fair. So we're gonna have to deal with Joel Embiid and James Harden not giving a fuck when it matters again, and that just is what it is. I,
I
guess
mean, dude, that's the life, I guess. That's the life of a Sixers
It's the
fan.
fucking life we're stuck in.
There was a couple people that called into the radio today saying that they're 100% not re-upping season tickets if they bring James Harden back.
I'm gonna watch.
So there are
That's
people.
That's just
Look at
racism.
my.
There-
if you're-
yes.
if you're on the fucking.
There are people in your camp, but I'm not
Look,
there.
I clearly love the Sixers. They're all over my fucking water bottle. I'm gonna watch the games next year, but like I'm not gonna have the same passion and intensity. Like,
Well, I don't see how you could.
I'm so beat, and I know I said
I
this.
will.
I will too. Probably
I said
eventually.
this shit last.
I'll be playing the song.
I said this shit last year up until the playoffs, and then I got roped back in. But like, I'm so tired. Our podcast following the loss was the definition of insanity, and that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's doing the same motherfucking thing.
I mean, that's just Philly
year
sports
in
for you,
and
bub.
year out.
You know what would be
It's just-
crazy?
That's just Philly sports.
That's why,
in
like, I
general.
love our group chat with our friends where we primarily talk sports is still called emotional terrorism.
I think
And
that's
it's
the perfect name.
It's so
It is.
fitting because Doc Rivers hit the nail
So
on the
thanks,
head.
Doc Rivers.
There's one good thing you did for us. in
Emotional
3
terrorism
years.
is exactly what the fucking feeling of being a Philly sports fan is.
Real quick before we
gotta wrap
go,
up.
I have a prediction for the next NBA season.
The Sixers lose in the second round.
I think the most valuable player is going to be a Sixer, and I think it's going to be James Harden. MVP of the
Wait,
league.
Okay.
Stake your hair on it.
MVP
Yeah,
Stick your hair on it.
If James Harden doesn't finish top 3 in MVP,
No,
votes,
no, you
top
said
3.
win.
No,
No,
that's
no,
that's
let him run-
completely.
no, let
fair.
I think top 3 is fine.
Yeah, let him go. With
Yeah,
this.
that's also true.
That's
but-
completely fair.
I think James Harden is cooked. So I don't
All right,
even think
fuck
he'll
it,
come close
fuck
to
it.
that.
Wait,
Fuck
should we before? Should we make him grow his hair out or should we make him shave it?
Shave it.
No, but he shaves his hair all the time.
I don't shave it. I'm saying
Yeah, you
complete,
do. You're
I'm saying,
pretty, like-
I'm
Grow
saying
out
completely
bald.
bald.
the
like
stash.
cue ball, cue
Bald,
ball. Okay,
yes.
cue
Oh,
ball.
somebody keeping their word, huh?
Bald.
Well, that'll.
Are you
we'll see what
sure you
happens.
Are you sure you want to make this bet? There is
I
no
want to
chance
make
James
this
Harden
bet.
will finish top 3.
I just want to see your reaction if it does happen.
Okay.
So James Harden has to finish
What's he
top
got to
3
do
in
if he,
MVP votes
if he
next
isn't
year.
top 3?
If he isn't top 3, you just gotta blow me pretty much and say you were right about James Harden. Fuck you,
blow
Tyrese.
you?
Well,
Halliday.
you're not getting him WrestleMania.
No,
tickets,
not
will you?
literally blow me, but I'll think of something.
If he does, get
I will
top
take
three.
Vote
no
for Trump.
Seamus, I will take no pride in winning this bet because I don't even think it's a realistic possibility in this world that James Harden will be a top 3 MVP candidate.
Well, I don't either, but we're making the bet. If James Harden
Seamus
finishes,
just wants to go bald.
Realistically, next year's MVP is what? Probably like fucking Jokic again.
I say Harden, but you know.
Yeah.
That's
Yanni.
insane.
So
Probably
we're doing
Giannis
this,
or
right?
Jokic.
We're doing this, right? Jake, run it by me again. What is it? I know I said it, but I don't really remember what I said.
James Harden has to finish top 3 in voting.
Top 3 in
for
voting,
MVP of the regular season.
and if he doesn't, I shave my head.
Yes.
If he does,
Cue ball bald.
if he
Then Vince
doesn't,
has to blow you.
like if Vince loses the bet, well,
I
give me a week to think about
He
it,
has to wax his legs.
and
don't- I
that'll
don't-
be a topic on
I
the
don't
show
even
next
think
week.
James Harden's going to be an all-star, and you think he's going to be MVP.
I think he's going to be MVP. Top
All
3.
right, well, I guess stay tuned for
100%.
that. Random
Dude,
bet.
I have faith in James Harden.
Yeah, you really do.
Anybody that goes to strip clubs the way he does and has that nice of a beard, he'd be fucking
All right, and on that note, we're going to end here. Thanks for listening, guys.
fire topper.
We'll be back next week. Talk to you then.
Let's go,
Peace out.
Phils.
Go Birds.
God damn the Phillies.
Go James Harden.
Yeah, let's go, James.
Woo.